All right, everyone, it's time to talk about the IVF debate, that's in vitro fertilization. There is no debate to be had over this. The policy should generally be let people do IVF. Take a hands-off approach. The GOP right now, Donald Trump came out in support of IVF and said, look, I'm not going to ban it or anything like that. Some Republicans have a problem with that. Why do I get the feeling that some of the dumber Republicans are trying to make this the new die on the hill, standing your ground moment, sort of like they did on abortion? It's like with abortion, years ago. Roe v. Wade ends. It becomes a states' rights issue. The Republicans got their way. Some states kept it fully legal. Some states outlawed it. I disagree with that, by the way. And then there's some nuance in between. So you have states where it's like, up to 14 weeks or something like that. 12 weeks, something along those lines. With exceptions if a woman's life is in danger. That's, by the way, the policy that I support. I'm not going to countenance the concept and don't understand why any reasonable, rational person would, of having some 12-year-old who got raped by their own family member having to carry a child to term and or die on the slab. Is this a rare case? Yes. Does it happen? Unfortunately, it does. There have to be exceptions with an abortion law. IVF is the same way. There are some Republicans who think that it should be outlawed. Good luck, number one. I wish you well on your quixotic adventure. But that's really what it is. You're going to lose on this issue. It doesn't matter what you think is right or wrong. It matters what the general public thinks. It's called a democratic system. And the general public has no problem with in vitro fertilization. And neither do I, by the way. I don't even think that there should really be regulations on it, to tell the truth. I don't understand why we're trying to make this a cultural issue. It's one that you will definitely lose on. Some people think that it's unethical. The idea of, artificial impregnation or surrogates and stuff like that. They've talked about that as well. I don't see the problem. I just don't understand why the Republicans are so fucking stupid that they're going to try to make this an issue, especially right before a national election. Donald Trump is fundamentally correct on this. Keep it legal. I don't know. I don't see the problem with it. I think that we agree in sum and substance on this particular issue. I don't understand why it would even be a moral issue. You're just having a pregnancy. Somebody's having trouble conceiving, so they use IVF. Be fruitful and multiply, saith the Lord, right? So why would it be an ethical issue under the auspices of the Christian religion, which most of the politicians that have a problem with it seem to follow? And if they don't, who cares? What's the moral problem with IVF? I'm struggling to figure out exactly why they're trying to make this a debate in the first place. Is it politically, strategically a good idea? No. Is it an ethical complaint that you have? Under what premises, under what auspices would you consider this to be unethical? For somebody to have a child who's they're having trouble conceiving, they'd use IVF or something like that. Maybe they have to use a surrogate. What's the fucking problem? I just don't get it. I don't understand how Republicans can snatch defeat from the jaws of victory over and over and over on moral, cultural issues. Because they make a big moral stink about some issue, even though there's no pragmatism behind it. Again, we default to abortion as probably the prime modern example of this. Abortion is going to be obtained by people that want abortions. Trying to ban it is not going to work. Trying to make a federal issue is not going to work. It's going to happen whether you like it or not. I would rather that, that person who's been raped, and the person who's, they're underage, they had sex with their boyfriend, they're 14 years old, they're not going to be able to take care of the kid. I would prefer them to be able to access a safe abortion. I do not want them to go to the back alley with a coat hanger. I don't want them to have to travel to Canada or to Mexico or something like that. I just don't understand the conservative movement so-called. Also, I don't see how it's really conservative. Basically, you're creating a bunch of regulations. You want to regulate IVF. Okay, you sound like liberals to me, honestly. It's IVF. It's in vitro fertilization. Simply Google it. Well, you shouldn't use Google. You should use some other better browser. At this point, everything's algorithmically fucked there, but you should probably look up exactly what it entails. Where does this clash with anyone's religion? Because I'm not seeing it. Where does this clash with morals in general, like having an ethical society in which you're trying to reduce harm to people? I'm not seeing it. I just don't understand the complaint. But I see there are a handful of Republicans that are balking at the idea, and I'm not exactly sure why. Why is it controversial? Yeah, this should be way less controversial than abortion availability or something like that. Hell, even surrogacy. It's just IVF. Who cares? If somebody is willing to pay, they're like, hey, I'm not able to have a child the normal way. You know, my husband fucks me full of cum twice a day. And it's been 2 years and we just can't get pregnant. We're not sure exactly which the infertile party is, by the way. But I get fucked constantly and I can't get pregnant. So I've turned to IVF in order to get pregnant. What the hell is the problem? I mean, I don't understand. I'm scratching my head over this issue. I just don't get it. How can you be so strategically stupid? Who gives a goddamn fuck? And who is the government, by the way, to tell a couple that they can't engage in IVF? The government shouldn't be telling you jack shit on a day-to-day basis. The government should butt out and keep its own business. Conduct some diplomacy, make a trade deal, maybe bomb some people. That's basically the only goal that the government should have. That's about all. Peace out.